Γεια σας, καλώς ήρθατε στο Guitarspot.Gr. Είμαι η Irene Ketikidi και σήμερα είμαστε εδώ με τον David Kilminster που παίζει μαζί με τον Steven Wilson απόψε στο θέατρο Badminton στην Αθήνα. Θα ρίξουμε μια ματιά στον εξοπλισμό του και θα μας μιλήσει για διάφορα άλλα πράγματα. Ξεκινάμε. Dave, hi. Long time no see, almost.
It's been 18 months, I believe.
Not bad, I guess.
It's terrible.
Well, last time was with the Roger Waters gig. This time with Steven Wilson.
Yeah, Roger was about 3 years ago, I think. Was it the Olympic Stadium thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is a little more intimate tonight.
It is, that's true. I mean, however, like I said before, I see a bigger pedal board here.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's get started then. I mean, it's huge, so I don't even know where to get started. Where
I hear that a lot.
You hear that a lot.
I hear
So where does it first go to?
It goes through the wah pedal, which, to be honest, I don't actually use during this gig. I kind of thought that I would, and unfortunately doesn't get used, which is a shame because it's the Jerry Cantrell wah pedal, and it's really, really good. But it has yet to be used, other than our silly soundcheck funky jam things. Occasionally I might go a bit sort of wacka on it.
Get carried away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it sounds great.
So take us through the chain if you like.
Oh God,
Oh.
I'm not sure where it goes. Where does it go? It probably goes into the volume pedal next,
Yeah.
and then it goes underneath into a secret pedal.
Ah. Where's that secret pedal?
It's kind of hidden. Actually, maybe I shouldn't show you. Oh, all right.
Oh, come on.
Okay. There it is. Isn't it cute? The little EP booster, which is on about half a one, maybe. It's hardly anything. I found that when I was, because these are exactly the same amps that I used on the Wall Tour. So, and I had a wireless system, which I set to be just a little bit hotter than going through with a lead. Mm-hmm. So I got used to that. Every setting that I've got on my amps, pedals, whatever, is kind of used to the amp getting just that little extra kick. So when I started using leads again, I thought, let's just put the EP booster in. So it just kind of lives there and it's on all the time. And then, do you know what? I have no idea. I have no idea where it all goes. Daniel at Gig Rig is amazing, and I just kind of give him a pile of pedals and boxes and stuff, and he comes up with this, which is just incredible. But it is very, very easy. I'm assuming maybe it works this way around, actually. Maybe it goes, yeah, I think it goes into the treble boost first, then into the Zen drive, and then into this amazing sound blocks distortion thing, which just creates all kinds of weird noises. Then there's this vibrato pedal, and it's a vibrato, but it's a cool colour. It's kind of yellow, it goes with your jacket, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it makes all sort of wobbly noises, which is fantastic. After that, it goes into the Lex, which is the Leslie pedal. I tried a whole bunch of Leslie pedals, and I mean, unfortunately, most of them are about the size of this pedal board. You know, they're really just ungainly things. But I tried this one and it sounded great. So from there, from the Lex, it goes into the Flint, then into the compressor. It goes into the compressor next. Mm-hmm. And then into the delay, and then into the reverb, which are both Strymon pedals. I should get an endorsement with Strymon because I use so many of their pedals because they are utterly amazing.
I agree.
I have 4 Strymons, and they just. I really wanted this to be completely analog. Basically, I wanted the whole pedal board to be as organic and, you know, just to get the best possible sound from there into the amps.
So this is like a little programmer of all your tones, right? Should we get started with that? Because you mentioned something yesterday that you've got, what, 90, 80 tones?
97, I think, at the moment.
Nice.
Yes. And I have to memorize them all, where they all are, you know, because it's... you don't want to be looking at pieces of paper when you're on stage, with flashing lights and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't use all of them on a typical set, but when we did the Albert Hall shows, we did 2 days at the Albert Hall, And Stephen, being a perfectionist, he kind of thought that a lot of people would be going to both shows, so he wanted to do completely different sets for both nights. So we ended up learning about 4.5 hours worth of stuff, hence having 97 presets.
Almost 100 then. Well,
Fortunately, there's room for, how many is there room for? What have we got? 14, 8 banks of 14, which is 112, I think, yeah.
so you're almost running out. Well, that's great. Why don't we go and check some of that stuff out? Unless you want to talk about the guitar first, or...
We could talk about this guitar. I don't actually use it during the set.
Mm-hmm.
This is my practice guitar, but it's just, I don't know, I just fancy bringing it out. It doesn't get out very often. And I was intrigued to hear how it sounded through this rig. So it's just another one of my Sir guitars. I just send them a rough idea of what I want, and they just put it together. So this is quite cool. I'm liking this one. It's the End of Perfect Life.
My favourite tune, by the way.
What that doing the
So right now, are you going through the clean channel of the amp? What's on at the minute?
reverb?
Just reverb.
Yes. Yes.
And you're using that amazing volume pedal.
Yes. Well, I'm just using it because I don't want to blow your ears out at the moment. I'm keeping it. I'm trying because the stage volumes are quite loud. So it's just a clean,
A clean tone.
clean channel. Nothing. It's one of the things I love about these amps. You don't really need much on them at all. That's a tiny bit of reverb, and it's gorgeous. It's just kind of. There's something about the first time I ever plugged into a Brunetti, it was with a clean sound, and I just thought that is the nicest clean sound I've ever heard from an amp. It hasn't got that harshness. It hasn't got that. It's a little glassy, but not too brittle. It
sounds really lush. You're right.
Yeah, it's just really musical.
Yeah. I would like to hear, first of all, you're using both amps, right?
No.
No. What's the second one for?
Spare. I'm able to run stereo.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, because this gig is so complicated, we got surround sound, we got backing vocals, we got drums, we got 2 guitars, all kinds of stuff going on. And the last thing that the sound guy wants is a stereo guitar mix. So he just takes mono, and it's the one that's furthest away because I don't tend to like it. I don't want it sort of banging in my ear all night, even though I've got in-ears. It's still quite, these things. Loud. These things, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
They really do kick. So
Gotcha.
Yes, yeah, just the one. Just the one amp. Stephen really loves this guitar. It's not my choice at all. I bought it because it looked cool. And it sounds cool as well, but it's not, it's completely different from every other guitar I've got, so it's a bit of a nightmare to play. But Stephen just loves it. So for most of the set, especially the Hankinot race stuff, I'm using this guitar, which is just I got it second hand. I was looking at new ones and I didn't really find anything that I liked, and this came up. It was 1988, I think it is.
It looks gorgeous.
These are great pickups made by a friend of mine called Monty, Matt at Monty's Guitars.
In England?
In England, yes.
Yeah, I've heard of this guy, yeah.
Yeah, really nice. So this is, as I said, this is what I kind of use for most of the first set. All the solos, all the kind of...
Beautiful.
You like the sound?
Yeah, very much so.
That's the, that is just the Zen Drive.
Yes, you've been mentioning that lately. Is that your new obsession?
It's, I wouldn't say obsession, but it's my new favourite pedal for lead playing. I've had one for quite a while. I saw Robin Ford play at the, doesn't matter where he was playing. He was playing in England, and as usual, you know, it's really expensive to import your own amps. So he just had these higher Fender amps, but he used a Zen Drive, and it was like, wow, that sounds really, really cool. So so that's what I use. Yeah, this is kind of, I don't know.
It sounds amazing. I was going to say, is that mainly the drive pedal that you're using for the dirty sounds on this?
Yes, yeah, well, the solos. I'm not really, I'm not using pedals for the rhythm sounds in general. I mean, this would be the general rhythm sound. Actually, no, that's got the treble boost on, but it just adds a little bit of bite. Again, there's hardly anything. It's just adds, you know, tiny little colours. The things that I love about the Brunettis is it just sounds like the guitar going straight into an amp. It just sounds like the guitar but louder, which is kind of what an amp's supposed to do, but most of them don't. Most of them sort of colour the sound in weird ways and stuff, you know. I mean, if you want, you know, if you get a boogie, then you have got the boogie sound, you know, whether you like it or not. You have got that's all you can kind of do with it, which is fine if you like the boogie sound, but I just wanted something that would just amplify the sound of my guitars. So, and that's kind of what the Brunettis do. And the pedals here are just tiny little colours. I don't like to lose the actual the tone of the instrument.
No, I can definitely hear that. I mean, it sounds really big, and nothing seems to be, like you said, colouring it a lot.
No, that is a rhythm sound for Sleep Together, which is kind of a drop D thing. And I'll just give you a quick blast of that, because it's quite nice. Okay, so it's not perfectly in tune, but I mean, you can see what's actually on that sound. Nothing. It's just the amp.
True. So you're using the overdrive channel of the amp.
Yes. That is it. I'm not even using the boost on the overdrive channel. It's just the overdrive channel, and it's just really.
And so this is just a guitar.
This is just the guitar through the amp.
This is amazing.
No pedals whatsoever.
It sounds huge.
It does, doesn't it? Like, well, you get a little blue light if you're using any of the pedals, and there's nothing there.
So the way you've programmed this with a gig rig, it shows you literally what you've got on.
Yes.
And okay.
Yes. These things here are for the channels, and that's just what the pedals do. And then these, you can kind of push the gain, the pre-gain or the post-gain into the amp. I guess, to be fair, that's pushed a tiny bit, so it's kind of, you know, it's like the guitar, but maybe on 11 rather than 10. This is another guitar.
Okay, the Tom Andersons are what?
Isn't it gorgeous?
It is. They're my favorite.
Really?
From those custom series of guitars.
Yeah. It's I love it. I really do. Love everything about it. This is generally, if I'm sat at home messing around, then this is the guitar I'll pick up, because I can also mess around with different tunings a lot easier, obviously, because it's, you know, there's no tremolo.
Is that the one that you experimented with the tunings for your record?
No, that was actually I did that on acoustic. I did that on my Martin, and then I used one of my Surs and just strung it with really heavy strings, so it could play those songs. Ooh. Spooky sounds. It's obviously part of Ancestral. Unfortunately, when we left England to start this tour in January. That was the day that David Bowie died. So Stephen, being a big fan, I mean we're all fans anyway, but he decided that he wanted to do something as a tribute. So we learnt Space Oddity, and I kind of used that. I used the tremolo for. When the spaceship's taking off, you know, so... Yeah.
Sounds really pretty.
Can you read that?
Yeah, I can indeed. Actually, I was going to ask about that. Is that like a visual...
This is a new thing that that they've started using. You can actually name your presets, which is kind of handy. So if you're just about to start a song and you're not sure whether you've remembered it, you just check that and it says, you know, you can kind of write in what it's doing, what it is and what it's doing. So that is the end. It's the end part of Ancestral when we're doing the. It's a great Leslie, love it. And you can obviously. Such a fantastic pedal, really is. I use it for, well, I'm trying to think what else we do with it. Probably that. Which is the bit in the end of 3 Years Older. It's also at the beginning as well. So that's the Leslie. Let me see, what else? This is possibly the most unconvincing 12-string that I've ever heard. But in the
sounds pretty good, I'm sure, in the mix.
Yeah. In the context of the mix, yeah. I mean, the pogs are amazing, but they sort of, I prefer the low octave rather than the high octave. So
I was gonna say before, because I've got the timeline as well. I'm curious to see what the tones you're mostly proud of you've come up with, because it takes a lot of work, I've noticed, to program some stuff there, but it's worth it.
It's very cool, isn't it?
Sounds great. We want more of that, you know? Now
Really?
we want more of that.
No.
Yeah. It just keeps going.
That's kind of cool, isn't it? I was very proud of that. Although I must say, it wasn't just me; it was Stephen as well. Because sometimes he comes over if the sound's not right, he'll just say, "Oh, do you mind if I?" And it's like, "Please," because he knows what he's doing. I have no idea, and he's very particular on the tones of the songs, you know. So sometimes we'll just sit there and kind of keep fiddling until it sounds right. Love that sound.
Well, I bet it's great to be able to work with another guitarist that can also just give you extra ideas.
I've actually really learned tons of stuff from him, to be honest. It's been very educational and inspiring, and you know, I mean, I've never used most of these pedals before. You know, I had to buy a shitload of stuff when I joined the band. You know, I didn't have a tremolo, I didn't have a vibrato, I didn't have a Leslie effect, I didn't have things that made stupid noises like the Pog, which we love. I meant sound blocks when I said Pog. Something very strange that happens with this, because if you play it really lightly, you just get you get the octave. But if you hit it harder, you get more of the fundamental as well. Such a great noise.
That's amazing.
That is just the pedal as well, there's nothing else going on. It just makes lots of crazy noises. I use it for when we did the Watchmaker. That was what made the dinosaur noises towards the end. You know, with the tremolo.
I was going to say, I mean, obviously you've got a lot of tones, a lot of pedals here. Is it... I always ask that to everyone. I don't see a noise suppressor. How does it happen and the sound stays clean and not so much affected by noise? Is it, would you say it's the pickups from the guitar? Is it the cables? Or is it the fact that you don't use too much drive?
I've never... I don't like too much drive, no. I like kind of big fat guitar notes and then, you know, just a bit of fuzz or whatever on the outside of them. I think... I mean, it's obviously kind of... There's a lot of gain stuff going on, but I've just never had a problem with... I think sometimes once you start using noise suppressors and stuff, you kind of lose something.
True. But I'm just curious as to why there's... Because I hear very minimal noise, which is actually from the speaker. I don't hear anything coming from the pedals. So
No, there isn't. No, I've made sure there isn't. This is designed so that it is the guitar with a tiny bit of whatever for whichever song and straight into the amp. And the amps are pretty... I mean, as you can... You know, the amp is really loud, but you can hear from here. It's just... It's not really making a huge hissy noise. It's not like an old Marshall, which is going...
Anything else about the current, like wires on the pedal that stops that from happening, or is it just how the power supply is routed?
I think the power supplies are also very special. These, I think, you know, if you have a look, these are the kind of power supplies for them. You know, these little things. Time Lord. I think, you know, Daniel is a genius with all this stuff. So, you know, he's obviously designed all this stuff, and there's a whole bunch of more of them there, so that, you know, you just don't get noise. Basically, yeah, a little bit sometimes. I mean, I've got P90s, so these can sometimes they'll pick up lights and taxis and whatever. But in general, it's not I don't have a noise problem at all.
No, I noticed that because even your lead sound, which was the highest gain, it was still, you know, no. Yeah, no, that's great.
I love this rig.
It looks grand, you know. It looks spectacular.
This is the one that I took to the top of the wall every night. And she never let me down.
I remember that. What?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, what are the single pickups on this one, Dave? Because I see Simon Duncan on the... Well, everything.
The two singles they're also Sirs. They are the Fletcher Landau singles, which I really like. I tried a whole bunch of singles and they were my favourites. I'm so attached to these. This is a Seymour Duncan custom, which I used to use from years ago. And there's certain things. There's a limit to how much I want to change stuff. You know, I love the sound of Swamp Ash. So if I get guitars made, they're generally Swamp Ash. I know this is a great sounding pickup, so I'll generally get that. You know, rather than just changing lots of different things, because then you don't know what's made the difference. You know, if I started using, you know, a different overdrive pedal and I've got a different guitar or different body or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know what's affecting what really. But I know that this sounds pretty good, and I don't tend to look at other stuff much. I don't go shopping for stuff unless there's something specific that I'm looking for, which is why it comes to these pedals sometimes, and I'm thinking, God, that was months ago I bought that. I can't remember, you know. At the time, I'll look for vibrato pedals. I'll go through maybe 15 or 20 in a shop, find the one that I like, and read up on it, you know. And then it goes in the pedal board, and then I never think about it ever again. So.
Good sustain, I hear.
There's a little bit of sustain, yeah, just a tiny bit.
Sounds great. Sounds great, really.
That is just the... What is it? Okay, tiny bit of reverb, tiny bit of Zen drive, a lot of amp, and, you know, I mean, it's kind of... there's some volume there, but it's not. I'm not pushing the amps at all. I'm maybe on about 6 or 7. Really, there's still quite a lot of room to go on it. It's kind of perfect. It's the perfect volume, really, for me. It's I've never got on with 100-watt amps because you can't push them hard enough because they're just too loud and they make your ears hurt. So this one, I've got a switch on the back that takes it to 30 watts, which I used to use for Roger. So the heads, both heads, I would use in stereo, and I'd have them 30 watt each. This is just back to normal. This is just 50 watts, and as you said, quite a lot of sustain. Can you see the little tape?
Yeah.
And the little bit of paper. It's a very sick pickup. This is the same one. I've kind of my tech at the time on the Roger tour. He was very superstitious. I said, "Look, we got spares. Just put a different one in." He's like, "This is the magic one. This is this sounds great." I'm like, "They're all the same, pretty much." I'm not going to get too. So this is but I will change this at some point soon because it does. Unfortunately, it feeds back.
One thing I was going to ask was, you've worked obviously with a lot of big players, but you also have you work with Roger Waters, Stephen Wilson, Keith Emerson, but you also have your own work. You sing and you play guitar. And you've got 2 albums, if not 3. Well, you had an old.
Yeah, there's a classical album, which is the first album I ever did, just on classical guitar. I think I just won the Guitarist of the Year competition in '91.
I was going to say that now.
So and obviously everyone was expecting me to turn out this sort of shreddy kind of metal, instrumental Steve Vai kind of thing, and I just went into the studio and I recorded an album on classical guitar, as you do, because it's what I felt like doing. But yeah, I've since done 2 rock albums. Currently working on the next one. Although I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to have time to finish it, because I don't know if you heard, I'm doing another show with Roger later on this year.
Tell us about that, please.
Well, that's it's going to be one of the biggest things ever, I think. It's a 3-day event called Desert Trip in October. It's going to be on the site where they have the Coachella Festival. The Friday night they got the Rolling Stones with Bob Dylan supporting. Saturday night it's Paul McCartney with Neil Young supporting, and then Sunday night we're headlining and we have the Who as a support act.
Okay.
You shouldn't say it like that.
You've got the Who as a supporting act.
Yes. They're not. No, they're on first. They're not supporting us.
Like a joint bill. No, that's still great. That's amazing. I mean, I'm looking forward to.
I'm really looking forward to doing it. It's kind of it feels like one of those historic events. I mean, it's going to be really a lot of pressure again. It's not going to be something. It's not going to be another wall show. It's going to be something different. So, and I think at the moment Roger and Sean are both really excited and just sort of planning the biggest kind of spectacle you can imagine, basically. So I'm going to have to learn a whole bunch of stuff for that. Get another pedal board with different pedals on it, so we can have another chat at some point.
I hope so.
Yes. So that's gonna keep me busy for September, October, and then after that, I'm back out with Stephen. We go to Australia, New Zealand, and I think he's planning on doing more stuff. He's just, he's having a great time. No, in fact, we all have a great time. This is such a great band, We all like each other still. after a year, it's amazing.
No, it's great. It's great that you're involved in all these big gigs. I mean, do you feel like you can... do you have to change the way you think about the playing when you switch from each artist to another?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's certain things that obviously I'm not going to be able to do during a Roger Waters gig. I mean, there's a whole bunch of technique stuff which would just be inappropriate. Basically when people come to watch Roger, they just want to hear the solos on the record. So that's kind of what I do. I don't follow the sound too closely. I'll get in the general ballpark, but I think it's more important to play the right notes with the right phrasing and the right timing. So, and people say, "Oh wow, it just sounds just like Dave Gilmour, and it doesn't. But I'm just playing exactly the same solo, exactly the same timing and phrasing and stuff. So it works, But I think my sound is quite different. And then with Stephen, it's very, very specific. I'm trying to make the music. I'm trying to play Stephen Wilson music the best I can. So, and I'm very happy doing it at the moment.
Amazing. No, that sounds amazing. When are we expecting to see you maybe on some solo gigs? Because I'm looking forward to that.
Wow. Oh my God. I'll do another album and then I'll think about it.
Okay, I hope it will be soon.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's almost 2 years since the last one, which is crazy. Time's just flown by.
I just think that a lot of people, because a lot of my friends would say the same thing again, musicians, what they like about you is that you're so versatile in so many different areas. Like, you're self-taught and also sort of highly musically educated at the same time, which is what everyone would want, I think. So do you find that during different periods of time you try learning something different, and that's what has led you to this? Because you seem to know a lot of different things.
Right.
I don't know how to put it best. It's like very experienced in a lot of different aspects of a musician. You're a solo artist, you're a session player, you sing as well, you write for instruments that you don't play, of course,
Yes.
you teach,
Yes.
You're a shredder as well, even though people, tend to...
There's a little bit of shredding that goes on, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I've never been that interested in it, though, in a way. I mean, I kind of practiced a lot of technique when I was younger, and, I wanted to keep up with everyone, and then it just got to the point where I thought, well, I don't know. The stuff that I grew up listening to was songs, essentially, and that's what I love to listen to. I love to listen to bands. The first few Queen albums, that stuff is just incredible. But that's 4 people working together and creating some music. I never wanted to do this. I didn't want to go down the solo shreddy guitar instrumental album thing.
Be still able to do that. That's what I mean. So this is kind of a thing that would inspire a lot of people. So would you say that? What would you say that the thing to focus on for new guitarists would be if they want to accomplish as much as you've done, say, for example?
Okay. Wow. That's a huge question. I think there's a small problem with the way that people learn the instrument nowadays, because there's so much stuff online. When I was trying to figure out how to play guitar, there was no decent guitar books. There was no tab. I mean, tab's been around for a long time, but not for popular songs, whatever. So basically, I was sat there with a record player, just figuring out what was going on. I got this book. I got a Led Zeppelin songbook. Because I was a big Led Zeppelin fan when I was younger, and I looked up Whole Lot of Love. I thought, this is going to be great. So I looked it up. Whole Lot of Love. Turned to the page, and it was. Probably sounded like that out of tune as well when I was younger. So I've been fiddling with that, but yeah, and I'm playing this, and I'm playing along with the record. I'm thinking, no, there's a riff in there. There's a note. There's a thing that goes. Ah, there it is. Okay. Oh shit, it's there as well. Oh, there's an open string. And it was just my way of discovering my way around. I had a record player and just trying to figure out what was happening on these tracks, which takes ages. It really does. It's obviously much easier nowadays for people to get lessons or to get the tab or to get instructional DVDs, whatever. But all that stuff is missing that connection between what you're hearing. People used to develop unique styles because they were trying to work out something, and maybe they worked it out the wrong way or something, but they developed something really cool from that, And now it's just like, okay, this is your this is your piece of paper, and it's got all the numbers on it. So all the numbers correspond to this little paint box with So when you see 13, that's the red, and okay, so you can paint these things, and you can be completely colorblind, but you can make paintings. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Well, that's been great, Dave. Seriously, very educational and inspiring is the word, I think, here, because we've heard all these sounds and all these wise words. I know you might disagree, but I think they're wise words. So I think our guitar spotters will really appreciate that. So thank you for taking the time to show us around all that stuff. We're really looking forward to tonight. I think you've got us into an emotional mood already.
Oh, bless you.
Well,
Thank you.
great. Thank you. We'll see you at the gig in action.
Yes, no doubt. Wow.
Για περισσότερες συνεντεύξεις, παρουσιάσεις μουσικού εξοπλισμού και online μαθήματα, επισκεφτείτε το Guitarspot.Gr.